think so highly of seniors that I believe seniors would be willing to do whatever they have to do to make sure that Medicare and Social Security are around for the kids and the grandkids. I believe they're that way. Democrats don't. I spent a lot of time working in the inner city. I believe black and Hispanic and poor white parents are smart enough to decide where their kids should go to school. Democrats don't. They want to imprison poor kids in lousy schools because they don't think poor black, poor Hispanic, and poor white parents are smart enough to decide where their kids go to school. Final point. I believe, Republicans believe, conservatives believe, that if this guy right here makes $1, I want him to keep damn near all of that. Let's say 90 cents of it, okay? Because I believe he's good enough, decent enough, and smart enough to take care of his life and his family and those around him. Look at the Democrat vision. That dollar he makes, I'm going to have the government take 60 cents of it. Why? Why? Because he's not smart enough to do this right. Give it to government, and I don't give him health care. I've got to provide all this stuff for him. Because he's not smart enough to take care of his life for his family. Republicans get too defensive. Ours is the optimistic viewpoint, conservatives. You are free and responsible to live your life. Oh my God, what is more empowering than that? The other side says, no, you're not. No, you're not. I got to take care of you. Government's got to take care of you because you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not decent enough. That's what this election's about. That's what this election's about. Boy, I really went off the beaten path there, didn't I? Let me stop there. Let's open this up to any thoughts and questions about anything you got. Any issue, let's keep it all respectful. Especially, who's got a thought, an issue, or a question?
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security, yes.
Homeland Security. How much, what action is your committee do as far as Homeland Security? Can you advise, what is it that you do?
We work with the appropriate agencies to make sure that the homeland is secure, to make sure that the government, we provide oversight, to make sure that the government agencies charged with protecting our homeland security are doing what they need to do as efficiently as possible, as cost-effectively as possible, and as transparently as possible. You know, it's a constant tug of war. We have the head of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, coming up in front of our committee often. The head of TSA comes in front of our committee. And so we ask questions, and we examine budgets, and we see what they're doing to try to keep our country safe. What Congress does, all of these committees, all of these congressional committees, they're basically there to provide oversight. We represent the American people, to make sure your government, whether it's the Financial Services Committee, the Armed Services Committee, Homeland Security, every agency of government is doing what they need to do in the best interest of the American people. So you hold hearings, you provide oversight, sometimes you approve more money, sometimes you take away money. When things come up or issues or scandals like Fast and Furious, committees look at things like that. It's making sure that the executive branch and all of government is acting as they should.
Because with the drones and all of that, it's like, it seems like you're just acting on your own.
Well, you raise another issue. This is the eternal question that humans, Americans, have had to answer forever. Hear me, hear me. I believe in a very limited government. Okay? One thing I want my government to do is keep its people safe. It's there in the Constitution. Okay? I don't want my government stepping on our basic civil liberties to keep us safe. that is an eternal dance. How do we do that? How do we make sure Americans are safe and we don't abuse our own liberties? Drones flying over our heads, taking pictures of and spying on Americans. Is that a proper role for our government? Is that a proper role for private corporations? Do you want drones flying over the border? Do you want drones to be part of how you secure our border down off of Mexico? Well, right now, your government does. Your government does. And I suppose when governments make decisions that the American people feel go too far, well, then certain people won't be reelected. But that's Congress's role to examine these things. So this issue of drones, by the way, they've been up there for a while, is a big issue with people. Because it goes at this thing of privacy versus security. Privacy versus security. And there's no easy answer. I have voted against a number of defense measures because I felt they abused our basic civil liberties. But I voted to reauthorize a number of aspects of the Patriot Act because I want my government spying on the bad guys. I want my government using the technology we've got to go after bad guys. I don't care if we abuse a terrorist's rights. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have rights. It's when you talk about American citizens where this becomes really fuzzy. And there's no easy answer, but it's up to us to be vigilant. Yes, and then it's up to your government through your vigilance to say investigate that. Why are there drones flying over Villa Park? Find out, Mr. Congressman. This is a constant battle. What else? Yes, ma'am. Louder. Go ahead.
They took 6, and they said, keep 6. And now they take 8, the Democrats. This was not the original Democratic Party. This is not the Democratic Party.
This is the Democratic Party.
No, this is wrong. Because they say, okay, now we want to see the Congress, and we're going to go this will wash the rules. Why do they do that to me? This lady doesn't represent me in Congress. What are her qualifications to represent me?
But
Mr. Walsh is like this other congressman. No. 6 and 8, you may arrest me. Arrest me tomorrow. It's like you. You're going to hear it my precedent. That's what we're people. Tell me how they can do it.
well, here's what happened. And this is the yucky part of politics. It's not just Democrats that do this. Understand, guys, politics 101. Every 10 years, we redraw districts. The party in charge of the state gets to do the redrawing. Illinois is controlled by Democrats, so they get to draw the districts. In Texas and North Carolina, boy, let me tell you, Republicans did a number on Democrats. So fair's fair. It's a terrible way, to your point, to decide who your next congressperson is. Because the reality here is, they did not just draw a district to elect a Democrat. Durbin, Axelrod, and Emanuel drew a district to elect Tammy Duckworth. I mean, they literally drew a district for them. Absolutely. And I say the same thing to Republicans. If Republicans did this, I'd be offended. That's not the right way to let 3 people decide who their congressperson is going to be. There's got to be a better way. Some states do it in a better fashion. Iowa and other states use a computer every 10 years to decide how their districts are going to be drawn. I think we need to take it out of the hands of politicians. But can't talk about that now. Now I have to deal with what we've got. And so now we move to the second thing. I can tell you, when they drew this district, Tammy Duckworth, there she is, that's her camera over there. Everybody waving Tammy. When they drew this district, they didn't think anybody would challenge Tammy Duckworth. They never thought Joe Walsh would come down here and challenge. 9, 10 months later, this is a tough fight. We've made this a very close race. And I think we're going to win because even though they drew this district for Duckworth, Tammy Duckworth lost the election 2 days ago. I'm serious. 2 days ago, Tammy Duckworth lost this election. I was the host. Very good, we're done. And if you spread the word, it will happen. 2 days ago, Friday morning, on the Don Wade Roma show on WLS radio, Don Wade asked her point blank, Miss Duckworth, are we better off than we were 4 years ago? She did not hesitate. She said yes. She said yes again. So I'm here to tell you that if Tammy Duckworth thinks people in Lombard, Villa Park, Elk Grove, Schaumburg, Palatine, Elgin, and Bloomingdale, Madison, and every other town in this district are better off now than they were 4 years ago, she's out of touch and she just lost the election. Because I know, and most of you should know, that everybody in this district, down here, everybody is worth less than what they were 4 years ago. Unemployment is worse now than it was 4 years ago. Our debt is almost $6 trillion worse than it was 4 years ago. More people are still losing their homes. Towns in this district look like ghost towns. Businesses boarded up. For somebody like Tammy Duckworth, who's never really lived here, never really been part of this place, to actually go on the radio and say we're better off. So I think that we're going to prevail and we're going to surprise the Democrats, not just in this district, in a number of districts. Because we're not better off, but we should be. Because we're better than what our government's doing to us. We're much better than what our government's doing to us. What else? Who have I talked to? Oh, I tried. I'd like, here's what I'd like. I'd like you to be able to ask her that question. The problem is she doesn't get out much. She's turned down about 12 debate invitations. She's going to hit me on Medicare, get the AARP invited us to debate. She said no. She said no to the League of Women Voters. She has said no to groups within the district. She does not want to do what I'm doing with you right now. She just doesn't. She's been in a TV studio with me once about 2 months ago. Call. We had a supporter. I was told yesterday that somebody called her campaign this past week and they asked when her next public event was, and the campaign said there are none planned. This.
Very, very, very late.
But I can tell you a little something. She'll never tell you because she'll never get in front of you. Yeah, she'll never get in front of you. You will never have, you probably will never have the opportunity to talk to her because she won't do this. But if you focus on the issues, this is why we'll win. I want to repeal Obamacare. Ms. Duckworth wants to expand it. She didn't think it goes far enough. I want to be drilling for oil outside this building. I'm exaggerating, Tammy. Ms. Duckworth and President Obama don't want us to drill. She will vote to raise people's taxes. I want to cut everybody's taxes. If you go right down the line,